Good morning, KBFers. I am going to do my introduction like this. We are up in Spencer, Tennessee, Highland Rim Retreats. It is now middle of the summer pattern, and we had off of this bluff over here to my left, we actually saw a fish probably over 6 pounds. And as crazy as it seems with the surface temperature being 76 degrees, it looked like she was spawning. She had a male there. She would go in and turn on her side. They would run off anything that came in the area. So this water is 18 feet a foot off the bank, and the surface temperature is 76. But because there's no real shallow water in here, I think they're spawning, you know, in 4 to 6 feet of water off the bank. And the water temperature that deep is probably in the temperature range for spawning. So even though it's mid-June and you wouldn't expect the fish to still be spawning, especially in this part of Middle Tennessee, you have to take a look at the scenario that you're in and the situation and the conditions. And I honestly think that those bass are over there spawning off that bank. So I've got my girlfriend Christy with me today, and though she's fished, she hasn't kayak fished much. This is about her 3rd or 4th trip with me. What I'm gonna do is back off this bank and kind of let her throw in there and see if she can catch that big girl that we spotted from the bluff. And I might even run a California technique if we can't get it to eat, which is to hop out of the kayak and go up on the bluff and spot from above and call her into the fish. But I'm gonna leave that fish, which I think is right over here to my left, just off of a piece of wood, and see if we can get her to get that, and tell you guys what we did to be successful. So, all right, so I just pitched up into this pocket. I had one pick it up right out of the gate. I'm keeping a little tension on it so it can't swallow it. It's probably a little guy, but turn the camera back on just in case. Oh, yep, there he is. And like I said, it's a little guy, but that's how you start. You got to catch one and figure it out from there, and use my little finger roll technique right here to get the hook out without hurting the fish. There we go. And get that fish back in the water. So nothing real fancy there, just throwing a Senko into the pocket. You know, a Senko for me is a great starter lure. It's deadly effective. You know, I go to it when I have to catch fish, you know, for the TV show or whatever. But when you're assessing a new body of water, it's also a deadly search and confirm or search and destroy lure. You literally just throw it out, and pretty much the only way you can fish a Senko wrong, in my opinion, is to kind of overfish it. I like to fish it weightless about 99% of the time. I like to add a bullet weight every now and then, but as you can see, one's already picked it up and started swimming with it. I'm just let it, make sure I got it good. It's got it good, and it's not just doesn't have it by the tail, and then boom, I'm gonna set the hook. And if you notice here with braid, I don't have to do the old kamikaze hook set. I literally just gave that thing a little tick, and 1 inch of rod tip movement is 1 inch of, you see that bait's kind of down in there, and the vast majority of people are going to get up in there with pliers, and I'm just going to stick my finger in there. I'll link the finger roll video just a tip in here, but I just pop that loose with my finger, roll it over the top, and then when I push down on it, the hook tip comes out on my finger. The fish comes out nice and clean. He got a little blood right there, but that was because he was already hooked deep. But I'm not killing the fish. I'm going to put him in the water, rinse him off. No, I don't have blood running out the gills. He's going to swim away nice and healthy. So again, if you're trying to get a new angler into fishing, if you want to take a kid fishing and get them into artificials, you can't go wrong with this black Senko. I'm going to show you right here why I like these big mouth tube hooks from Mustad. You see how that hook came out of there, but it really didn't tear the plastic up? So all I got to do is push that back in place, line my hook up, bring it back through there, rehook it. And these Senkos are expensive, you know, especially if you buy, you know, the real deal Yamamoto Senko. And so the things that you can do to preserve them and make them last longer go a long ways. And so this big mouth tube hook, unlike the ones that a lot of people use with the pinch grips and things like that on there, they don't tear the bait up. If the fish grabs it and runs it up the line, it doesn't tear a hole so big that I can't reuse it. And then I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again. I like to use this bait until it's nice and torn up, and then I put it back in the package or another package, because once you've torn it up for a Texas rig, you can still reuse it, especially with the O-rings, as a wacky rig. So save your Senkos that are torn up for rigging weedless or Texas style, and then reuse those for wacky. We'll let this thing run live again for just a few minutes and see how many fish I can pick up with the Senko off this tree line here. Again, I'm not catching any toads or anything like that, and Christy is hooked up, so let me spin around real quick and introduce y'all to Miss Christy Hammonds. All right, so don't reel yourself all the way to the fish. Let your line out. Let your line out. Don't walk your hands up the rod. So look at me. Let your line out to where you can bring the fish to your hand with your opposite hand. There you go. Don't walk your hand up the rod. You make the rod short when you do that. Now just, yep, change hands. So while I'm sitting here talking Christy through it, I got one swimming up to eat my Senko as well, but I pulled it out of its mouth. Just go ahead and don't sweat it. You're on YouTube right now. But just go ahead and
That's awesome.
Go ahead and reach down and pull the fish up. Oh, look at that. That's a nice little fish. Now you see what happens when you got your hand up the rod and you got the fish,
yeah,
and your line's short. Now you're in this weird, what do I do? So what you want to do is have out a rod's worth of line and pull the fish to your hand and grab it, and then you can just set your rod down, flip your bail up, just flip your bail up and let out some line, and then take the hook out. So that right there is Miss Christy Hammonds, aka the girlfriend, and I think this is her first bass on Kayak Bass and TV. We're gonna hang back. Is it hooked deep? Let me paddle over and give her a hand with it. It's hooked a little deep. We may need to do the old finger roll technique, and we'll keep working and catching fish. So we've been on the water 20 minutes. We've caught half a dozen fish. I turned the camera back on when I started catching a few. Now she's catching one herself, and let's head over here and take a look. Christy, say hey to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
They're right there in that little computer screen looking thingamajigger. So give me some slack. Yeah, so that hook is down in the actual gullet. Can you guys see that? And so this trick works really well. So what you do is you stick your finger down in there and put it on the hook shank, and then you turn it with your other finger and you pop it out just like that. So basically, grab your fish, hold it up to the camera with your other hand. That way you don't look like a dork. The other way. Here, let me show you. Let me see. Fish holding etiquette is that you hold it to the inside like this.
Oh, I got it now.
So let's go ahead and try that again. Okay. No, you're still doing it wrong.
Well, how am I doing it wrong?
Grab it with that hand on the inside and turn the fish the other way. There you go. But you always want your thumb on the inside, not your thumb. Your finger on the outside is, hold on. Guys, I'm gonna back up. Do me a favor. Tell Christy what she's doing wrong here in the comments below. Your thumb always goes in the mouth, inside the mouth. There you go. Hey, look at you. There you go. So,
like a professional.
Anyway, so get that guy back in the water and let's go catch a bigger one. Or not. Now, generally what I'll do for a place like this, especially in the summertime, is, and I don't have them with me today, is I normally have a snorkel and some fins, and after I've fished the place over the first time with my kayak, I'll come back through and just swim it out. And it looks like I got a fish just picked up the Senko right there. Yep, there he is. I'll swim it out. Oh, nice little dude right there. And he's doing a little aerobatic display for us this morning. But yeah, I'll come back and I'll swim it out. And when I swim it out, what I like to do is go back in, and I've actually swam places out before, and this will tell you why this is important to me. Little chunky dude. Means there's some healthy fish in here, so that's good. But the reason I swim it out is I've actually gone into places and got completely skunked, and realistically I could have wrote the place off and said, there's no fish there, and then, you know, never go back there. But I've actually swam a place out and with just a standard snorkel, fins and mask, and saw giant bass. And I either fished it at an off-peak period, the fish just weren't interested. I fished it to where the water was so clear that I showed them myself and they weren't willing to eat, and I had to change up my strategy. Ease down one bank and cast to the other one, stay on the bank and cast from the bluffs or whatever. But I've used that fins and mask technique. I wrote about it in the book Kayak Bass Fishing. I've talked about it at seminars. I just don't mention it in my videos a lot, so I want to bring that up since I'm talking about breaking fisheries down. I use that technique a lot, especially in the summertime. For one, after a hard morning of fishing, it's refreshing, it's cool. When the sun's up and vertical, you can see further than you'll be able to see any other time of the day. So I'll go swim the place out. So obviously what I'm gonna have to do is make a trip back up here with my fins and mask and snorkel, and I'll bring the GoPro with me, and I'll just swim it out and show you what I normally do to kind of assess a fishery by doing the swim out technique. Maybe we can get some good fish on video and I can show you guys all the fish I wasn't able to catch. But when you get these bluffs like that, just cast at them, hit them, drop the bait off right on the bank, and then what that simulates to the bass is that something was right up by the surface and another bass ran up there and popped it, and they swim over and look around, they see that bait fall and they reach up and grab it because there's this competitive feeding thing going on. So I think I had one swim off with it pretty much after it hit the bank while I was talking to you. So I'm gonna reel up my slack and set the hook, and it's not a big one, but it's a little guy. So while I'm sitting there talking, he swam off with the bait. But because I kept contact with my lure, I want to show you something. Because I got contact with my lure, you see how I still kind of hooked him in the corner of the mouth on the side? I'm gonna still do my finger roll to keep from hurting him. Got him in his tongue patch right there. I'm gonna pop that hook out, just like that, bring it out backwards, and get that guy back in the water. And so guys, that pretty much is it. You know, this is me breaking down a little small fishery. This is just like some of the places that I catch some true giants. You know, and sometimes I just come and it's a dink fest, and I say to myself, you know, why is that worth showing? But you guys are letting me know in the comments, and you're letting me know in conversations when I do meet and greets and things like that, that this is the kind of stuff you want to see. So I'm bringing it to you. And I'm teaching Christy how to kayak fish, and along the way teaching her a lot of the things that I just take for granted that fishermen know. And based on some of the questions that she asks, I go, oh, well, if she would like to know that, I'm sure that there's a lot of beginners out there that want to know that same stuff. And so we're going to start documenting me teaching her, or teaching an angler, how to fish.